Angela. I'm the Director of Brand Development at Koru Distribution. We're one of North America's leading wholesale companies. We work in Canada and the US, connecting brands with purpose to thousands of retailers in North America and bringing great products that are non-toxic and sustainable to conscientious consumers.
Hi, I'm Heather Marshall. I'm the Campaigns Director at Toronto Environmental Alliance, and I'm here at the WEAR conference today because our organization is working on the environmental impacts of garment care and garment cleaning. Specifically, traditional dry cleaning, it uses a lot of toxic chemicals, and there's a new alternative on the market called professional wet cleaning that doesn't use any toxic solvents and is way more environmentally sustainable and safer for workers and consumers. So we really want to raise more awareness about these kinds of environmental technologies that are out there and hopefully affect change at the consumer awareness level, but also at the textile and design stage where the labels get put onto garments that tell people to use dry clean only. Really want to make sure people know that there's other options out there that are way more environmentally sustainable so that we can keep people's garments in their closets for a lot longer.
We are an Italian company. We produce fabric for blue jeans since 1974. We are focused a lot on denim produced with a low footprint. We are using a very low quantity of water, and we eliminate a big number of chemistry due to the fact that we are using some patented technology that helps us to create a new denim without some toxic agent inside. So we could save a lot of cubic meter of water and more than 7 million kilograms of CO2 saved in the last years. So we approach the market in a different way, trying to make a real sustainable denim and not a greenwashing denim.
This event is truly wonderful because it brings together a community that doesn't often see itself, especially the independent designers. We are truly in our own worlds, really working hard to make sure that our businesses stay around for the next year. To then take the work that we're doing on the ground in the community and link it to larger companies who are trying to put some of these initiatives into place. It's a wonderful conversation. This is actually a great event space for open-mindedness and those communications to just peacefully happen. We can ask those scary questions because it's accepted that in this space of learning, that not only is it okay to ask questions, but you should be asking questions. You should be involved and really, piercing through the information that's being, put out there.
WEAR is really important for the fashion industry because there just generally needs to be more awareness. I think you see a lot of brands like Encircled and some of our other small makers coming up, some startups who are really focused with sustainability in their DNA. It's really what their company is built on, and in a lot of ways that's a lot easier because we come from it from the angle of everything we've done in our business ramps up to being sustainable and ethical, whereas still you're experiencing an economy where 80 to 90% of the clothing is being made by these big companies who have a massive impact on the industry. So bringing up awareness for them and showing them how that they can integrate more sustainable practices into their businesses, I think is incredibly important because they're the ones who will also drive the wave of consumer change. What we saw yesterday is people are really interested in more ethical options in apparel, but they're not finding the resources or the price points there. So that's really something where bigger brands can play a role as well, because by them shifting to more sustainable sourcing, more ethical production, it makes it more affordable for other people to use that production as well.
I think the majority of the fashion industry operates in silos, designers separate from those that are in production. And I think the more we have events like this that bring everyone together and allow a great cross-section of conversation, I think the knowledge is power. And the more people learn about the impact and what they can do individually to make an impact, I think it accelerates change in the space.
I think events like WEAR are great for two reasons, both education, learning from the best industry leaders, and secondly, networking. everyone at this event has something to offer and works for a really cool company or has their own blog or something really awesome to be a part of. So both the education and networking aspect will help create this amazing community that can really shift things.
I really think it's about bringing all these like-minded people together in order to collaborate. These events really just are making it easy for people to come together and push the industry forward through collaboration.
Oh, education. It's so important for people to learn, to listen, to find out what other people are doing, especially in a global context. And I love WEAR because it's not just looking at Toronto or even Canada or even North America. There are people here from around the world. This is where how do we do sustainable fashion actually is addressed.
The past 2 days have been people from so many different aspects of the fashion world all coming under one roof, recognizing that we're all doing something and we're all looking towards the same kind of goal, and we're all kind of creating the same future together, which is really exciting.
That people from all these worlds, it's what is the future of the fashion industry, how they are all like fair trade and eco and then the recycled and all that stuff are interconnected to make, to transform the industry basically.
I was thrilled to see that Nest was here as a company presenting the importance of unstructured labor forces. They are working with larger companies trying to access independent workers within their homes and communities while still fulfilling their corporate CSR needs. And that was so invigorating and inspiring to see that these larger behemoths are trying to involve independent individuals in a way that is sustainable, that is protective of their rights, and that is actually monetizing and preserving hand-skilled traditions, as well as making accommodation for people within their homes and their communities.
We learned a lot about sustainability, consumer awareness around it, and really the biggest takeaway is that it is our role as a brand to educate consumers on what fashion is, what's the supply chain, like from a very basic fundamental process, to help customers understand why it's important to select more sustainable fabrics, what they can do when they have a piece of clothing that they're done with that they can't wear or maybe it doesn't fit. What are the options? Because I think there's a lot of misconceptions around that, and as a result there's a lot of clothing ending up in our landfills.
I think for me, being able to actually see the river blue was incredibly impactful. I think most of us really don't have an understanding of what goes into the production of the items that we wear, let alone the impact of chemicals and other things that are associated with it. And so for me, that underscores the space that I'm in terms of reuse. And every single day now, it just encourages the fact that the work that we do at Value Village and promoting reuse has an immediate impact.
I think one big takeaway is really understanding, documenting, and improving the supply chain model. So although I'm not manufacturing fashion at Boro, it's still really important to know about where the clothes that we are sourcing or having on our platform are from. So I think just really documenting and learning about supply chain is something that I'll be more cognizant of, and that really want to be part of that as well.
I was really truly inspired by Ellen Karp's presentation this morning. She talked about data research that she had done with individuals in over 300 different countries, and it just really showed that people care about sustainability, and the attitude, the mindset is there. Slow and steady incremental growth is the way that change is going to happen.
The thing that gets me is that it feels impossible. It feels like we can't possibly make enough change to make a difference. But someone said to me yesterday, 40 years ago, we all thought that recycling was a fad. And now we don't even think twice. Like, you recycle, you just do it. So what's going to happen in the next 40 years? Right? So if we can make that kind of shift culturally, socially, then we can make a lot of big shifts. Change happens, it's just not when you want it to necessarily. So you got to take that perspective of like, no, it is happening. It's just not going to be on my schedule.
One of the biggest things that I learned is that there is a community of people helping what's called the informal fashion industry. There's people recognizing that there is growth and ability that isn't trying to make it the next big box store. It's really exciting.
I guess the biggest nugget is there isn't one solution. There's never going to be one solution. There's a bunch of solutions, but there is a solution, so that's a positive.